this is probably a bad omen in terms of economic news, but I thought it was necessary to talk about it because, the more we know about what's happening, the more informed, hopefully, the better decisions and choices we'll have to embark upon. So, this story came out at the beginning of this month, but it was sort of kind of covered up. I stumbled onto it and I thought it was very interesting, so that's why I'm talking about it. The 99 cent store onlys are all closing. Yeah. Apparently, the bankruptcy went through. If they're calling it that, they're not calling it a bankruptcy, but I mean, when you close all your stores, you're kind of bankrupt. All 372 stores around the nation will be closing, and apparently these stores, I've never been in one, but apparently these stores sold fresh produce, deli, common household items, and these stores, the first one was created back in 1982. So this has been around for a while, these 99 cents only stores. And basically they sold items that wouldn't necessarily be sold for 99 cents. 99 cents. So a lot of people went to these stores. Now, here's what's interesting. Here's what's the bad omen concerning the economy. With the way things are, with high inflation, if people aren't going to the 99 cents only stores because they can't afford to, where are they going to go? Uh-huh. Meaning, if we can't even keep the 99 cents only stores open and they're selling produce and common household good products, you know, and it stands to reason that they should be doing well in this economy. People claim they don't have as much money, and so these stores should have been doing well. They should have stayed open. It could have been some supply chain issues too. They said they never really fully recovered from COVID. That was the excuse the company gave. Yeah. The company really, you gotta go and read the press release. The press release was odd. So they said they never fully recovered. They blamed, theft, shrinkage of products, which is theft, people running into the stores stealing things, which has been a huge phenomenon in America. They blamed that, and they said they blamed, supply chain issues, that they never recovered from COVID. Yeah. Well, anyway, all around, this is a sad story. I didn't want to keep talking about this and beating a dead horse, so to speak, but I just thought I'd inform you all about this. What looks like bad omen for the economy, the American economy. When you have all 372 99 cents only stores closing up across the country this month, doing this in kind of like a rapid succession. They started this on April 5th. And so they didn't give people much heads up. Nobody knew that this was coming down the pipe. And then you got to think all the jobs that people held at these places, those are going away. So now people are going to be unemployed who worked in these stores. So this is going to cause a ripple effect in the economy, a not good one. Because you want to have stores like this be opening up, not closing down completely. So, yeah, I just thought I'd tell you all about this one. It's not getting much talk on the news. They're not really wanting to share the going through in our country right now, I can kind of understand that because, everything tends to get seen through a political lens, especially in a presidential election year. But really, these problems have been persistent now for some time, going all the way back to 2019, really, when we saw the start of this kind of stuff. And so, we know with COVID that really hampered a lot of businesses. But see, this to me would have been a prime recipient of PPP money. I don't know. They didn't really mention that in the press release, but I would love to ask the owner of these shops, did you all apply for PPP funding? Because this would be a prime recipient of businesses that really require that money. Harvard was getting PPP money. NBA basketball teams, Congress members were getting grants and things of that nature. But you think about the 99 cents only stores. They should have been getting the PPP money. They needed it more than any of these big box, big chain, conglomerate businesses did. That's for sure. So, this will primarily affect the Southwest. Apparently, there were a lot of these stores in places like Arizona, Texas, New Mexico. Like I said, I've never been into one. I had never even heard of 99 cents only stores. I know they have that kind of thing in England, but I didn't know they had it in the States. So they're not affiliated with Dollar Tree or Dollar General. Just want to make that clear. 99 cents dollar only stores are not affiliated with Dollar General or Dollar Tree. They're a separate branch. They only had 372 stores, and all 372 are closing. The press release came out this month. April 5th is when they released this shit. So, it's been about a week. That's why I'm talking to you all about it now. What should people start doing? Well, I've said this a little bit a while back. I think when the pandemic first started. Beans and rice. It's iffy. I'm just going to say it. It's iffy. Nobody really wants to, say what really is transpiring. Everybody wants to have it on the tip of their tongue. I'm one of those folks that I'm just going to call a thing a thing. This economy is iffy. It's wobbly. People who say that it's the worst, they're being dramatic. And people who say it's the best, they're being dramatic. It's neither one of those two things. It's iffy. It's wobbly, to say the least. And a lot of people have fallen off the ladder. Politicians don't want to acknowledge this for whatever reason. And then there are a lot of people still on the ladder but are struggling. And people don't want to acknowledge that. And then there are people that are doing very well for themselves. People associated with Amazon, Meta, AI, they're doing all kinds of wonderful things. So this is very iffy. This is a time of transition. In transitory time periods, oftentimes there's hardship and things of that nature. When industrialization was first becoming a thing, there was a lot of transition in the society to industrialization and what that meant. So this is one of those, transformational, I would say the fourth greatest transformational era in human history. This is the automation and robot type of era. Yeah, and so that's going to cause issues that people, don't necessarily want to dwell on or talk about, but you can't solve problems if you don't have discussions about the problems. So it's sad to hear so many people are going to lose these type of stores in their community because, oftentimes these stores, thousands and thousands of people rely on these stores to provide them decent and affordable produce and groceries. So this one, when I heard about it, it was hard to digest this one because I know the impact it's going to have is going to be felt by a lot of people adversely, negatively. But, it is what it is. Check in, I would say if you're in a community, check in on your local food bank. See what they're offering too. Don't have so much pride and ego that you're not willing to feed yourself and your family. Yeah. So, but this is really going to be devastating. All 372 stores are closing. Yeah. And somebody said it's getting dicey. And I guess that's one way of putting it, getting dicey. I did a little grimace when I read this story because it's a bad omen. Hopefully it's not of more things like this to come, but when you read stories like this, you know that it kind of can be a sign that you're bleeding out as an economy. People keep wanting to talk about how we're going to do this soft landing kind of situation, but inflation has been with us for quite some time now. People are struggling to afford groceries. They're going on payment plans just to afford weekly groceries. And then you got Republican governors in these states this summer. Each family that has a child is going to receive an additional $20 per child for enhanced summer EBT, money for nutritional food for your children. These Republican governors in these red states turned down that money. Said that their kids are just fine. They don't need to eat this summer. Now in Nebraska, the kids were so bad, they told their elected officials, we are starving. We want this money so our parents can feed us. And so that governor, who originally came out and said that it wasn't necessary to feed his children, he came back out and reversed course. But this is how you can tell that these people live in an ivory tower and they don't get out and talk with nobody. Long before we had the pandemic, we had children going to bed hungry in America by the millions. That number has only soared and increased, not decreased, since the pandemic. Any governor that would tell their citizenry that they don't want to feed their children over the summer, I don't know. I would think that type of person was a sadomasochist. Because there's children in your state that are hungry. That's a fact. You look at some state like South Carolina, 21% of children in that state are food insecure. 21%. That's not a small number of children, 21%. If it was 3 to 5%, that would be too much. It's 21% in South Carolina alone. And they got the nerve to say they don't want to give you all the enhanced EBT this summer. These people are crazy. These people are really crazy. I'm just telling you. To me, they're crazy. There's no way I would turn down getting children food over the summer. First off, they're out of school. They always eat their parents out of a house and a home. But this comes from them not knowing that most of their children receive nutritious meals through the school system. Yeah, most kids eat maybe once or twice a day, and that's provided through the schools. A lot of kids in the inner cities don't get to eat dinner like you privileged people in the suburbs. No, they don't do that. They get maybe 2 meals at school, breakfast and lunch, and they take something from the cafeteria for dinner. Yeah. So these governors, mostly white men, they spoke from a place of extreme privilege to tell their citizenry that they don't need food and nutrition during the summer. These 99-cent only stores are closing up. Yeah. Where are people going to get their nutrition from? I mean, these questions have to be asked because we're in dire straits at this point. Dire straits. People can try to pretend like we don't need to do extremely different things to kind of rebalance ourselves if they want to. They're kidding themselves. We need to do anything and everything we can to get resources and supplies to the citizenry. Period. That's a fact. There wouldn't be a penny if the federal government was offering me some money to feed my people. I wouldn't leave a penny on the table. Yeah, one of them said that this is a pandemic era program and the pandemic is over with. Really? I think it was Governor McMaster in South Carolina. He said that stupid shit. Now, he said the pandemic was over with. I don't know. Well, ask yourself this. Did we ever fully recover from the pandemic? No, we didn't. All the businesses didn't come back. Some of the products that were being supplied never came back. We have shortages everywhere. Medication shortages. All types of different auto part shortages. So we never fully recovered from the pandemic. People are still getting sick with COVID. I think on average this past winter, about 1,400 people per week passed away of COVID-related illnesses across the country. So when they say the pandemic is over, I don't know. We can maybe say the most severe part of it has been managed. I wouldn't necessarily call something that's still having ramifications and effects in our society over with. I wouldn't use that terminology. But to each their own, I guess. So yeah, I wanted to bring this to you all's attention. These 99-cent only stores are closing. All 372. If you're in those areas and you've been utilizing them, start utilizing the food banks right now, because you know what's going to happen. People that were primarily utilizing those stores for groceries, they're going to go to the food banks. The food banks are going to be swamped. Facts. They already are, and they're going to get swamped even more. Yeah. Read about it. There's all types of people lining up for the food banks. More than just unhoused people now. Yeah. We already had long lines with just unhoused people. Now we're starting to see people coming from different parts of cities going to the food banks. Yeah, And the max, get this, the max they could get this summer is $140 per household for your children. The max you can get is $140. You know, when they got rid of the enhanced childhood credit, which lifted a lot of people out of poverty, and the Republicans said they got rid of that because they said that people were spending that money for drugs. Remember they said people were buying drugs with that money. They weren't buying food for their kids. So that's why they got rid of that program. Now they're saying this is a pandemic era program that they're bringing back for the summer. And we don't need that because the pandemic is over with. These folks. And you all, I can't really blame them because a lot of you voted for these clowns, these bozos. I told you when you were voting for them, these people were not going to help you out if you get in a pinch. Only thing we can do now is wait till November to vote a hell of a lot of them out. And we got to make better choices going forward. That's all you can do. A lot of these governors, they were re-elected though, so they are not up for election this November, but if you can get control of some of these state legislators in these states, throw out these crazy old men and put in some progressive people, you can get some laws changed. And even if a governor wanted to override a law that was passed, you know, if you put a supermajority in, they can't override that law with a veto. So we've got to do everything at our disposal to really try to do triage, because we're bleeding out fast. And these folks, they don't seem like they're going to do anything to assist us in doing triage. Especially the Republicans. It's really bad. All the Democrat governors took the money. Yeah, all of them took it. It's only the Republicans that said they don't need it. Yeah. Their kids are doing just fine in Mississippi and Alabama and Louisiana. No, they need to, no. What they need to do, all the parents, they need to go on TikTok, take their phones, you know, just like you all do those dance videos. Take your phones and film your children. Film your refrigerator. Do a refrigerator challenge and say you have no food in your refrigerators. Tell these politicians you have no food. And you need to provide us resources so we can feed our families. Because their last president is the one that bankrupted the whole country. His bozo-ass policies bankrupted this whole entire nation. This is a fact. Starting trade wars, I can go on and on and on. Yeah, that kind of shit bankrupted us. And so we're in a bad situation now. Anybody that tells you otherwise is just not really wanting to be completely and totally honest with you. It's not, let's put it this way, it's not the most ideal situation you would want to find yourself in. That's for damn sure.